You're probably not going to believe this, but you probably will believe this at the same time. If you've been following the Tory Lanez and the Megan Thee Stallion situation, the trial, the final verdict, then you've seen the reaction to this verdict of Tory Lanez being found guilty on all 3 charges. I know I haven't gotten a chance to update you on that situation, but you also need to know there's a petition with nearly 40,000 signatures to get him free from prison. Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So literally when the news broke that Tory Lanez had been found guilty, I was traveling, so I couldn't give you an update on that story because we have been following it since the trial began. And when we were following the story, it just didn't seem like the prosecution were going to come out of this with a win. So very much like all of you, I think I was a little shocked, but at the same time happy for Megan Thee Stallion and happy for everyone that had been following this case that wanted justice for Megan. So we're not going to rehash the case. This has already been rehashed. At the end of the day, when this is up to a jury, it's up to them to, by the guidelines given to them by the court, figure out, did the prosecution do what they need to do to prove that Tory could have been responsible on those 3 specific charges. You got to remember what those charges are. I won't get into the charges because YouTube and their guidelines and the things that we mentioned, I've mentioned this before. If you've been following the case, then you already know what these charges are. One of those charges included the firearm situation with Megan Thee Stallion specifically. So there were a lot of people reporting that, this was the Megan Thee Stallion trial. And we have to remember, this was a case brought by the LA prosecution. This was not brought on by Megan Thee Stallion. But Megan has suffered a lot from public ridicule since this all played out. And to be honest with you, I'm really shocked. And I've said this before when we've covered this case. I was like, I just don't understand the level of hate for Megan outside of the Tory situation, but even more so with the Tory situation. Look, we wanted to wait and see what exactly would come out in this case. And a lot of different things came out in this case. But I think the #1 thing that came out in this case is that we don't know what fully happened leading up to Megan being shot in the foot. And at the end of the day, Megan was the victim in this situation. She was the one shot. Now that we've finally gotten a verdict, there's been a lot of reaction on social media. Immediately after the verdict, Tory Lanez's father spoke to the public and had a rant. And look, it's his father. What do we expect? But then some of you, if you know the history and the rumors about Tory's relationship with his father, you're kind of thinking, what's your real intention here? And now there's a running joke and trending topic on social media about Roc Nation because Tory's father mentions Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Roc Nation in his rant, saying that because Tory did not want to sign with Roc Nation, this is them trying to take him down. A lot of you are now have the running joke that Roc Nation is the reason for this not happening or that not happening. I'm going to blame Roc Nation for my luggage not showing up where it needed to be. Damn you, Jay-Z. Damn you, Beyonce.
And you could have did it.
See how I get wrong because you never
apologized.
I'm kidding. Calm down, Beehive. I hear you buzzing. So that whole rant that he had, look, I get it. A father. I don't know the true intentions. Seeing their rant and seeing them perform the way that they did. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to use that word. Perform the way that they did after the verdict said more about Tory, his situation, and why he is the way that he is. Because I'm not just talking about the Megan Thee Stallion situation. You look at all the stories with Tory, even the most recent story with August Alsina, this was bound to happen. So now fans have launched a change.org petition to free Tory Lanez from prison. Not that that's going to work, but this is what they're saying in the petition. So a person started this petition 3 days ago, and it already has amassed nearly 40,000 signatures. By the time we upload this video, it might be at 40,000, it might be at 50,000. So they say this in their petition, and this was brought, and this is why I always find it so interesting. the people that support Tory, I will link you to the petition. I'm not encouraging you to sign. I'm not encouraging you to do anything here. But I will link you because you know what we do here? We cite our sources. Because I know a lot of you are going to be like, what is this? Honestly, you can really just Google Tory Lanez petition. It will show up. So the woman that created this petition says this: Tory Lanez was found guilty of all charges, and it is a true miscarriage of justice. The state did not prove that Lanez undoubtedly committed any crime. Reasonable doubt loomed over a 10-day trial as the prosecution was unable to show us that there were not alternative explanations of the events. A circus of speculation, insufficient evidence, inconsistencies, and drunken memories left us without much moral certainty of any truth. Meanwhile, the jury selection itself may have put him in a terrible position to begin with. Take a look back at our review of the first day and what the jury looked like. We did talk about that in our very first video of this trial. Okay, so it says, meanwhile, the jury self-selection itself may have put him in a terrible position to begin with. If the prosecution believed their victim's account, why was Tory not charged with attempted murder and kidnapping? Instead, gave lesser charges that they were still unable to prove without a doubt. Here's the thing, and I don't want to keep interrupting as I'm reading this. Here's the thing. The prosecution is only going to bring charges that they feel that they can prove and have a jury actually come to their conclusion as well. Again, this was decided by a jury. This wasn't a judge making the final decision. These were individuals that came up with this decision. And again, a prosecution is not going to go for attempted murder and kidnapping if they don't feel that they have enough evidence. The prosecution felt like they had enough evidence to prove these particular charges that they had. They wanted to bring additional charges during the trial, but the judge said no. It's like, if you knew about him tampering with witnesses and things like that, you should have brought this up earlier. But the judge denied it. I don't know if the prosecution is going to seek more charges later. I mean, they could. I don't know if they're going to do that. Okay, they continue, E.J. King is the only witness who gave a clear and concise testimony. We literally witnessed every other testimony filled with inconsistencies and contradictions, including a plausible suspect requests full immunity and plead the fifth to not incriminate herself. Kelsey also committed perjury. Many said she was paid off. How is this reasonable if she said things damaging to Tory Lanez's case? The lead investigator did a shoddy job of fully interviewing the one neutral witness and ignored evidence that it could have been another person. They didn't even test the other potential suspects for DNA on the gun. So after the trial, a lot of people started believing that Kelsey was also the one that may have shot Megan Thee Stallion, if not the only one. That was the defense's defense. They said there is a witness that says the girl shot first, and he was asked repeatedly in different ways and maintained the same answer. Plus, Megan, the victim, lied on Gayle King on her IG Lives and in interviews. She also went from stating she didn't know who did it and that her back was turned to "you shot me." Her story then progressed to that she saw him do it when she turned around. Later, that she turned her neck, seeing it from the side. Next, Kelsey admitted that her September 2022 testimony was fabricated and that her text messages were sent out of panic. Panic of what? What did she do? What is she why is she asking for immunity for or from? Why did she lie and say Megan I might have just bumped into each other that night? So the change.org petition continues, and it's been saying a lot of what some people have been saying on social media. There are a lot of celebrities reacting to this as well, including people like Adele, who voiced support for Megan after this verdict and wished her a pleasant Christmas. Well, Slim Thug is saying he has his own theory. He doesn't know what happened, like many of us don't know what happened during this whole situation. But he says that if Tory had been a little bit more humble, he may have gotten out of this whole situation. Take a listen to what he said.
I don't know if Tory's or not, so I ain't gonna say free him or lock him up. But at the end of the day, the court say he lost, so I guess that's what it is. If he did have anything to do with that, he could have came, like, it shouldn't have been no beef. whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? After the happened, if it was any guilt on his side, he should have played it. He should have kissed Megan till she didn't give a, like, people play with the court system. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should have been way more humble and tried his best to get on her good side. For all that for the Cap app, saying this and saying that, and all the funny shit on Cap app, who laughing now? Ain't no way I can ever in my life, though, pull out in no dispute with a woman. I guess that's because I'm 6'6", though. I guess if you were short, that's different, especially with Megan Thee Stallion, big ass. But no way in life will I ever put out for a situation with a woman, man.
I have to say, I don't know if you watched him on College Hill, the Celebrity Edition. He was quite charming. But anyways, that's a whole other situation. But you also may recall, I've seen a lot of people posting up old footage of Megan on IG, basically saying the same thing. Like, if he had not came at her the way that he was coming at her on social media about this whole situation, this whole thing could have played out differently. If she did not cooperate with the prosecution, their case would not have been as strong because she is the victim. Guys, I know you have strong opinions because we've had all of you in the comment section. Some of you pro-Tory, some of you that are pro-Megan. Some of you are just in the middle and you're like, I don't know what happened, but something just doesn't seem clean here. But I do believe that Megan was shot, period. We have the medical records for that. Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts on this petition. I don't think it's going to do much of anything. How many petitions have we had? Had they ever really done anything? So why do we still have change.org? Do they really work? You will let me know in the comment section. You always do. Guys, as always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Happy holidays, and thanks for watching.